Thanks to you at home for joining us this hour. What could you buy with $230,000? Think about that for a second. A house, a brand new Ferrari, a championship racehorse. $230,000 is a huge amount of money. That's how much Donald Trump's Save America PAC has spent per day on the former president's legal bills in February. $5.6 million in 1 month, which I should note is more than the PAC was able to raise over that same period. Everybody knows that the one thing Donald Trump needs right now is money. When Trump engineered his takeover of the RNC earlier this month, his top advisor, Chris LaCivita, promised that not a penny, quote, of the RNC's money would go to pay the president's legal fees. He said that the RNC is as much a part of the Trump campaign as the Trump campaign is part of the RNC. His words. Okay, important words, because tonight we're learning new details about the Trump campaign's new deal with the RNC. The unusual arrangement prioritizes Trump's Save America PAC over the RNC. So while the RNC funds don't go directly to pay Trump's lawyers, any donation to the combined entity go to Trump's campaign and his Save America PAC first. Then the remainder goes to the RNC. And boy, he's going to need it. Of course, there is another option for Trump, which could delay having to pay by months or even years. Declare bankruptcy. Trump is reportedly not even considering bankruptcy as an option. Why would he be? He's already done it 6 times before, by the way. What's one more bankruptcy on the pile, especially when the former president is strapped for cash? Well, it seems that Donald's money woes may have finally become a political liability. According to the Washington Post, Trump doesn't want to declare bankruptcy partially out of concern that it could damage his campaign to recapture the White House from President Biden in November, end quote. Trump is worried about the optics of bankruptcy because it cuts to the heart of his identity. The Donald built his brand on being rich, on living a lavish lifestyle that the rest of us wish we could live. He started a TV show where his theme song was money. He surrounded himself with products that signify extravagant luxury, casinos, steaks, high-rise apartment buildings. He built his 2016 campaign on the idea that he was so rich he couldn't be bought, symbolically riding into the 2000 race on a golden elevator.
Our country needs a truly great leader, and we need a truly great leader now. We need a leader that wrote The Art of the Deal. I don't need anybody's money. It's nice. I don't need anybody's money. I'm using my own money. I'm not using the lobbyists. I'm not using donors. I don't care. I'm really rich. I'll show you that in a second.
Really rich. That was then, this is now. Trump not only finds himself in panic mode as he tries to secure a nearly $500 million bond, with the general election starting, he also has to worry about what voters will think about his very real money problems, and his opponent is not helping. When it comes to fundraising, President Biden has been consistently outpacing Trump, widening the gap between them last month. In February, Biden raised over $20 million. All told, the combined cash on hand for the Biden campaign and the DNC totaled over $97 million, which is more than double the combined cash held by the Trump campaign and the RNC. This suddenly looks like a vulnerable moment for Donald Trump, and it appears that Team Biden is prepared to take advantage of it. Not only are they planning a major ad blitz with their fundraising cash, but perhaps more importantly, President Biden has started to take some direct shots at Trump's money troubles. When it comes to Trump's legal woes, Joe Biden has refused to comment. But Trump's financial issues? Apparently, those are fair game. At a closed-door fundraiser with Democratic donors in Dallas last night, Biden joked, quote, I know not everyone is feeling the enthusiasm. Just the other day, a defeated-looking man came up to me and said, Mr. President, I have crushing debt, and I'm completely wiped out. And I had to look at him and say, Donald, I'm sorry. I can't help you, end quote. Biden has now trotted out this joke 3 times in the past 24 hours, signaling that it might be the start of a new, more aggressive strategy for the White House. For decades, Donald Trump overinflated his wealth, and he got away with it. And now he's starting to pay for it. Suddenly, what Trump has always touted as his greatest strength now seems like a glaring weakness, and Democrats seem ready to pounce.